We got a question about singleness. Why is singleness so hard?
That's a good question. Why do you think singleness is hard? Or specifically, why was it hard for you if it was hard?
Yeah, no, it was a hard time. Whenever I was in college, I was single. Embarrassingly, like I really hoped so much to find a godly guy. I went to a Christian college, and I even wrote it in a class, that
Oh, really?
one of my goals.
Whoa. I was a part
You were
of
one
your
of my
college
goals.
plan.
And I met you in college.
Oh,
I
that's
actually met
sweet.
him when I was in graduate school.
So you wrote it down that
Yeah.
finding a godly husband was one of the objectives that you wanted to reach while in school. And you did this
Yeah.
at the beginning of college.
Yeah,
Okay.
I paid a whole lot of money to meet you.
That's
I went
nice.
to a Christian school, right? It was
Yeah.
expensive, and I was paying for my own way, but it was important. It was a value to me that I found someone who was godly and that I waited. But it was really tough. Like there were definitely tears. There were times whenever I, asked God, like, God, why'd you give me this calling? Like I wanted to do ministry. I wanted to do a ministry that I really felt like needed a partner. I wanted to do marriage ministry. I wanted to do family ministry. I wanted to work with pastors. Like I'm a woman. How am I going to do any of these things? Some of the things that we're doing today have been, coming together from the calling that I felt as a kid. And so I knew when I was single that I was having to trust God, and it was really hard. It wasn't easy. What about for you?
It was also hard. I don't think guys talk about how it is difficult and it can be a struggle to be single. And it's not just for the sexual reasons. It's like, hey, I just want to have somebody I can have sex with and it'll be easier to be pure, whatever else. That's a different conversation. But emotionally and relationally, it is also hard. It's like there's a grief that goes along with it if you feel like, God, I feel like you have somebody for me and I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to be. And we've talked about it, but how do we think about getting ourselves ready now? Am I thinking about my future partner? Am I doing things that are making me a better future husband or a worse future husband?
Yeah.
And that matters.
And so we definitely both submitted our feelings and our struggles to God, but there were also a lot of really good things during this time. And so again, we don't want to paint a picture that being single is pitiful and awful, but we do want to be honest. Like it was hard. It wasn't the easiest time of our lives.
It's true.
But we did a lot of ministry. And so what were some of the things that you did with that time?
Yeah, I had plenty of time that I could go to the church. I was an intern. I pretty much lived there. Either I was in class or I was there. And I got to spend lots of time investing in other people, learning ministry, learning skills that I use to this day.
Yeah.
So it was really a valuable time. And I could also think about friendships and developing healthy friendships and other relationships other than just the dating relationship. So something that people will often do, I see this, is when they start dating somebody, they have only enough capacity for the relationship of the person they're dating. And they don't do a good job of thinking about how do I develop my relationships at work, with my family, with other friends, because that's what it's going to look like to be well-rounded. And don't put all of your relational energy into just a dating relationship in the current moment. So how are you well-rounded?
Yeah. For me, whenever, I was single and I hadn't met you yet, I was in college and I got to do a lot of really cool things. So I got to be a dorm chaplain and I could invest in other people's relationships.
Cool.
So you're talking about like when you are dating, you start really focusing on these people. Well, I was able to focus on people who were college students, people who were like me that might have been single, some who had relationship problems, and I counseled them and prayed with them. And, there were so many things that I was able to do. I was able to travel with a ministry and do a lot of different things that helped us, to have that foundation individually that
good.
made us a good fit for one another. And so God was working on us separately, equipping us that whenever we met one another, that we would be that good fit. But then, like once we did meet, we still had to, incorporate God into our relationship and then our other relationships and make sure that that worked. And so it was great to connect you with my family and go, oh, another piece that works. Like our families like one another. That's a good thing.
That's
but
really good.
Being single is challenging. But what about dating? Is dating piece of cake, right?
Dating is challenging. Being married is challenging. So I want to tell you that there's an overarching principle here value wherever you are and whatever you have now.
That's good.
That's the principle. So if you're single and you have the relationships you have, valuing that. If you're dating, valuing that, doing the best that you can. When you're married, valuing what you have there and doing the best that you can. That sets you up for whatever it is that God's growing in you and whatever it is that he could be leading you towards in the future. So valuing wherever you are, whatever it looks like.
Valuing it, but also remembering that relationships are hard.
They are
Single, dating, friendships, family, relationships are hard. And we've got to continue to submit them to God so that God's the center and that God will help us instill faith in us. He will give us hope whenever we feel lonely. But it is okay to grieve. It is okay to be sad or to have a hard time, but just don't live in that. Do things. So a couple of things we did whenever we were single.
Oh, good.
You wrote letters. I wrote notes, questions that I wanted to ask. And so, do you want kids? I would say, what do you think about public school versus private school? All these different things. What are your religious views? And I wanted to make sure that as I was single and wishing for that person, and I had questions for them, I wonder what they will be like. I wrote them down.
Yeah.
And then that helped our relationship and still helps our relationship.
It was relationship building.
Yeah. So God gave me, this inspiration, and he used it to bring him glory, to help our relationship to be better. And so whatever it is, you may have a creative idea that God will put inside of you to do something as you submit your relationship to God. So what did you do? I know I kind of said it. But.
No, it's fine. I had a journal, and I had journal entries that I made for a decent amount of time that I wrote to Ashley. I didn't know it was Ashley at the time. I wasn't even dating when I started writing this. And I would write letters to my future wife. I would write letters and say, this is what I'm dealing with. I feel lonely. I miss you. I'm thinking about this. This is a struggle. This is a good thing. This is a bad thing from my day. And then I didn't tell her that I was doing this when I met her. I didn't show it to her when we got engaged or anything like that. But I gave it to her on our wedding day.
It was special.
And it was something that hopefully, I truly believe that it was building a discipline in me during that time to help me to communicate better when I got married. Because I was practicing my communication skills with my wife before I had a wife.
Wow, that's good.
So valuing what you have, where you are, when you are, in your stage, in your life, is how you really find the most joy. And you're appreciating and you're recognizing God in the moment.